What a show. Wow. Did you guys catch that? Trump had quite the meeting with Zelenskyy. But before we get into that, I just want you to hear ABC's, how they're really, laying it on thick with how much support the U.S. has for Ukraine. Take a listen.
This blow up in the Oval Office. Americans, of course, watching too. Many Americans had Ukrainian flags in their yards, so supportive at the start of the war when Russia invaded Ukraine. Let's get right to ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, tonight. And Martha, you were there in Ukraine when Russia actually invaded. America witnessed this. And tonight, a much different display in the Oval Office.
Much different, David. I was in Ukraine that night 3 years ago when Russia invaded, launching missiles across Ukraine. You and I were on the air for hours, and there was such support for Ukraine here at home. Ukrainian flags flying in American neighborhoods, Americans even heading to Ukraine to help in the fight. And there was enormous support for President Zelenskyy, who told you when you traveled into Kyiv in those early days how thankful he was for the support of Americans. He said the same thing to me a year later. And there has been so much support from Americans for the refugees, the mothers and their children who you met, David, and who we profiled together. They often asked, will we have a country to return to? But the future of the U.S. relationship with Ukraine is now unclear. Tonight, European allies are standing behind Zelenskyy. The UK Prime Minister, who met with Trump just yesterday, promising his unwavering support for Zelenskyy. But meanwhile, Vladimir Putin's close allies in Russia are celebrating the descent into chaos after this meeting, with one official delighting in calling it a fierce scolding of Zelenskyy by the President of the United States. David?
It was extraordinary. Martha Raddatz with us tonight. Martha, thank you.
All right, I'm not going to get into the entire video of this. I mean, we all realize who Trump, who Vance, who Zelenskyy, who they are, right? They all belong to a club. But I was really intrigued on when Vance said something about free speech, and I'll show you that very short clip. But there's no free speech. I mean, I just had 2 pictures of Trump taken down from Instagram that were uploaded years ago, and they now took it down. These kind of pictures of him. And I think it was my cover picture from one of my videos. But seriously, we know what that sign is, right? I don't need to say anything more. We know he's a club member. And to those who don't see it, all you have to do is research his honors, his awards, and watch his hand signs. Because, yeah, they speak volumes. Now, let's get into it, because grab your popcorn, though, because this is quite the show, I have to say. So we'll show you a few clips. And if you want to look at the minutes, you can see them on the bottom where I was at. So let's go to it.
We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the president's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country, and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President,
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
What a show, right? So 3 days. Oh, I heard it from Putin. 3 days. So he says first the number 2, then 3, 3, and 2. I don't know. I don't care anymore. about the numbers. The show is just incredible. And I won't even mention all his hand signs, Trump loves all those hand signs. Even J.D. Vance was putting his hands like this as he was speaking. I don't know what else to say except for you guys know. You see it too. We understand. We've looked at their awards. We see who they are. He's been pocketing the money for a while. He's in the Rotary Club. I found this online in Facebook. And all we can say is he's an actor, just like Trump and everyone else, just like Marco Rubio, who was there with him. Ah, yes. I went to go look real quick, all the books and all the awards he's received. Not many, by the way, but the one picture that I love the most is him there at the Rotary Club, right? The Rotary Club that's, linked to CDC, Salvation Army, things they were doing. All the parades. Look, I don't need to talk to you about all of them. You guys already know this. I'm just wanting to point it out to those who don't. As for J.D. Vance, wow. I went to, whose site was I on? Benny Johnson, maybe, and tried to share a snippet of truth. It might have been about J.D. Vance working at Palantir. And yeah, someone came on and said, just go back to your basement and get your mommy to bring you your food. And I was just like, wow, that's the best comeback you have? At least come back with some information. But regardless of that, prove me wrong. Go research. Tell me I'm telling you a lie. But hey, all we can do is try. But as we've all discussed in the comments below, many just refuse to research. They refuse to wake up. They cannot see that club members are everywhere and in every kind of field. They're all around the world. They're in every city, every state, every country. They're in sports, right? They're in all kinds of fields. And all we can do is point it out and hope that people will wake up. Even King Charles there visiting a Rotary Club. Yep. You might recognize some names. I just went into the Birmingham Rotary Club. Facebook or Instagram. I can't remember which one I was at. I'll leave the link below. But we know. And you think they're not helping support this whole Ukrainian thing when their own president is in the club. Yeah, we know. They're all affiliated. It's a big show. I hope you had your popcorn there because wow, if you watched any bit of that, what a show is all I can say. And many will fall for it. All I can say is that it's a dangerous club. Many refuse to see it or understand it. They think it's a social club. No, it's affiliated to the deepest and darkest Jesuits. And yeah, they're all in it. Every leader of every nation. I don't know what else to say. It's quite the show. And it's sad, and all I can say is keep trusting in Jesus alone, and the Word of God. That's where we're going to stand. That's where we'll find hope. That's where we'll find joy. And He promises to never leave us or forsake us, so that's what we're going to stand on, His Word, and His Word alone. All right, quite the event. Hope you have a great week, and yeah, let's keep holding on and watching the show. God bless you guys. Take care. Enjoy the week.